Welcome or welcome back to the Film and TV channel. Today we're going to continue our look. Yes, continue week 6, episode 6 of series 16 of The Apprentice. Yes, this one's called Welsh Tours. There will be spoilers, guys, so if you've not watched it, please watch it before you watch this, because there will be spoilers in this, of course. Please, if you are new to the channel and you've not subscribed, please do so. Press that notification button as well. Please tell your friends. I do these movie, TV drama and these reality show reviews, etc. Various things. Not many reality things I do. I'm not really into them like I used to be many, many years ago. But The Apprentice is still very, very enjoyable. So I do that. So please pass the word round. And of course, I do have a little channel on my football team, Manchester City, as well. So if you know anyone who might be interested in that, please point them in my direction. Please, all thumbs up. I'm trying to get 10 at least for these. So if you're watching this, please just give us a thumbs up now. I say we'll be about 8, 10, 12 minutes long. This it won't be too long today. Right, so here we go. Yeah, last week we lost Francesca, didn't we, on the game task, designing game tasks. I thought she was a little unlucky last week. For me, she was one of the stronger candidates, but she did perform badly on the week, and that sort of landed her in it. So we do have 10 remaining to win this 250,000. In order of preference, my order of preference, I'll give you my latest order of preference after the latest show, if you like. Starting from the bottom: Nick, Akshay, Brittany, Aaron, Akeem, Sophie, Amy, Stephanie, Catherine, and Harpreet. So that was my top 10 at the moment from the bottom up. So Harpreet, before this episode, was sort of not particularly. I'm saying I like them more than just what I think as far as business is concerned, as far as getting the money is concerned. Sometimes there's a couple of those up there that I've put up there that I don't particularly wouldn't employ myself or give 250 grand to, but I'm just trying to look at it whether they've got the nous or abilities, if you like. And we started at Penryn Castle this week, with this Welsh challenge. So how did they go on this week? Well, Infinity, of course, won last week. Infinity is made up of Catherine, Amy, Aaron, Harpreet, and Akeem. So a couple of the favourites there for me. They chose the slate mine, zip wire, and cheese option. Yes, a bit of a good combination. I wouldn't have minded the zip wire myself. I've never been on a zip wire thing, and I love mines. I love going in caverns and stuff. So that would be certainly for me. Whether I would have paid 75, 80 quid for it, I don't know, or even 50 quid, 60 quid. I'm not too sure. Very expensive, these tours, aren't they? But I suppose that's what it is. Yeah, just looking at the individual people in that team. Catherine, she stepped up to be the PM, although there wasn't much demand for it, to be honest with you. Although Amy did actually say she didn't want to be PM, which obviously wouldn't bode well, would it? Let's face it. Obviously, Mr. Sugar would have learned, Lord Sugar would have heard about that. And she said she wouldn't do it, which is a little bit odd. Because Catherine was excellent with the tourists, very, very loud, very, personable. I think that's the word, isn't it? But not so much in the negotiating prices and stuff like that. But Amy, as I said, who didn't go for PM, it was a theme one. It was a strange one. She went on the selling team, which isn't particularly for me a big strength. But they went selling on Llandudno Pier, which I've been to myself. And she went as a sub-team leader, so she put herself out there. She did a bit of a megaphone job, but she didn't really need. With no offence, Amy, but you can probably hear Amy from one end of the pier to the next without a megaphone. But not the greatest, and they didn't do that well. Obviously, she was the Aaron on the pier trying to sell. And the weird part of this task was that there was a lot of presentating. I mean, obviously with these tourists, when you get 16 people signed up for your tour, surely that was Amy's skill. So surely she could have been PM and put herself forward as PM and delegated a couple of things that she's not so good at to other people. I don't understand Amy's thinking behind it. Will that cost her? Well, we'll see later on, won't we? And of course, the sort of Master Cheese Class Commission, obviously involved in that. A presentation was okay. That was fine, which you'd expect because of a previous experience. But again, a lot of this task was negotiation, getting prices, getting commission prices, getting prices from the tourists, and getting paid from the tourists to go on these tours. And no one really stood out, unfortunately, this week. So obviously, that's a bit of a worry for a businessman that you can't negotiate or do things like that. It's a little bit worrying that there's no one really stood out above the others this week. Aaron, as I said, he was with Amy trying to sell. Very weak this week. Not a lot of substance to this bloke, to be honest with you. He's a nice guy. He seems fair enough, but he sort of let Amy dominate the sales. I mean, they both did it together, set out sort of counter on the pier. But I mean, just split up, just try and do what you can do, and just shout over to the other. Make sure you don't double sell things. But they didn't. They had to sort of desperately sell at the end anyway to a sort of works place anyway. So it didn't. On the pier, they didn't do that much anyway. So yeah, again, Aaron, not impressed at all with Aaron. Harpreet, a very quiet week for Harpreet. Yeah, she appeared to take a little bit of a back seat, and obviously it was pointed out in the boardroom, I think, later on, but she did deny this. But obviously, on what we saw on the filming, she wasn't very involved at all this week, and Harpreet's been quite good for me, so I was a bit surprised. Akeem, yeah, another nice lad, yeah, lovely lad. He had one. He sort of was very keen to do the mime presentation, and that was the only thing he had to really do, to be honest with you. And unfortunately, he didn't do very well with it when it came to imparting the information. I mean, surely he could have swatted up a little bit better and give a little bit more information. So, Akeem, lovely lad, but there's not much there, is there? We're not seeing much at the moment. He's hanging on in there, obviously, at the moment, into the last 10, but we need to see something of Akeem. I'm surprised Lord Strugger's not said. But he's a nice lad, perhaps, but Lord Strugger doesn't usually do that. If something's wrong, he'll let people know. Team Diverse is the other team. That's Brittany, Nick, Akshay, Steph, and Sophie. They did the Highland Railway tour, chosen with painting, so water paints and whiskey tasting. So that was all right. I wouldn't have been bothered about the painting, but the railway and the whiskey tasting would have done it for me. Would have swung it. Brittany, yeah, interesting. She's part of the team. She does chip in a lot off camera, saying how she's not happy with something, but again, very, very weak and not very to the front of this task. You didn't really see much of her at all this week. Nick, yeah, nothing really. Nick, again, he's a bit like the other. Well, Akeem, he's a bit like Akeem, a version of Akeem. He had a little presentation to do on the train. And it mainly got stuck on sheep and how Wales is well known for sheep and how many millions of sheep there are. It was, yeah, and the thing is, he got away with it because he's such a nice lad. But obviously, in business, being a nice lad doesn't make a good businessman. But obviously, the tourists, the ones on the tour, the 16 people, quite liked him because they thought it was funny because it was funny. It was a bit pathetic but funny, and he's a nice lad. So why would you pick on him? So I can see that side of it. Akshay doesn't get on well with Sophie, so they were both paired together to go selling, which seems a bit daft. But hey, there you go, they got a job to do, and Steph was happy for that to happen. They were both okay. They're both up for it. I think Sophie did very, very well. But apart from that, there's nothing really much from them again from Akshay and obviously Sophie. Apart from a bit of sales, I didn't really see Sophie much after that, and neither Akshay. Steph, yeah, she was happy to be the PM. Again, not great negotiation skills. And of course, there'll be more on her in the boardroom in a minute when we really saw a bit of a nasty side to Steph, which personally I didn't particularly like, but we'll talk about that in a second. Sophie was a sub-team leader and in charge of shifting the whiskey. Again, a bit of a lack of negotiation skills. We were getting nowhere near any sort to make a big profit on these, but she was okay at selling. Sophie, as I said, when she was out with... who was it? Akshay selling. She was okay at that. She seemed to be personable. She was getting on with the customers, etc. She seemed to be a bit boring on the swatting up on the whiskey. She's involved in the alcohol industry, isn't she? She was sort of asking about how it was made and whether it's steel or brass, I don't know, sort of various things. But I mean, obviously, she imparted this to the people later on. I think you need a few whiskies just to listen to her, to be honest with you, because it got a little bit bland and boring, Sophie, which is a shame. But obviously, that's what she thought she had to impart to the people to sell the stuff, and she probably didn't. So anyway, the boardroom, yeah, diverse. Yeah, this is where we get back to Steph, isn't it? She was already covering her ass, let's say, by throwing the sales team under the bus on selling tickets and commissions on whiskey and the tips, of course. So there's a problem with the tips; they didn't ask for the tips. At least Steph waited to put the knife in when you know you've been beaten. I mean, she really could see by her face as well. She was really nasty, and obviously she didn't make a couple of good friends there. Do that when you know you've lost a task, and then you can have a bit of nous, have a bit of cleverness about it. If you're going to be nasty, at least be clever with it. And Steph showed a bit of a dark side, a bit of the true colours, to be honest with you. Could be looked upon as being good, hard-nosed businesswoman. But for me, it's just a little bit of a nasty streak, and I think that might go against her in the long term. Although, obviously, based on this, she's probably up there with the favourites. The profit from Diverse, £356.83. So they did okay. Infinity, yeah, I mean, Kath obviously was a bit, as I said, none of them were good at negotiating. Apparently, she paid £62.50 admission for their task, and the guy would have gone down to 50 quid, but she gave up on that in negotiation anyway. And of course, Lord Sugar noted that Amy had already pulled herself, actually said she wasn't going to be PM. I mean, if Amy just kept her gob shut, she might have been all right on that side of it, but I don't think that rested well with Lord Sugar. And they just made £203.85 profit. So obviously the task went to Diverse winning this week on that one. And there was no doubt, obviously, although she wasn't as condemning as Steph on the other side, Kath was intimating that a sales team had let her down. So I think there was no doubt, even before we saw it, or I saw it, or we saw it, that she was going to bring back, obviously, the sales team. And yeah, there we go. She brought them back. It was interesting in the boardroom. Amy was sort of sacked, although Lord Sugar did tease Kath a little bit, and you thought she was going to go at one stage with one of these little pauses about, unfortunately, Kath, blah blah, and then obviously he carried on to Aaron, and again, Aaron, I thought he told Aaron he was very lucky, and I think Aaron was lucky. Did the right member go? Infinity member go? Between Aaron and Amy, I mean, I wouldn't have said Kath because she put a lot into it. Okay, her negotiation skills are a bit naff, but on the actual thing itself, she did very, very well, I thought. So I thought it was between Aaron and Amy, and the fact that Amy did vociferously say she didn't want a PM worked against her in this one. But for me, I think Aaron should have gone. I thought Aaron was very, very weak, and he's not shown anything. For me, again, another nice guy, but what exactly has he shown over the last 6 weeks? Nothing, so I would have got rid. On Your Fire, the panel said they were right. Yeah, they were right to get rid of Amy by a 2-1 majority, and the audience pretty unanimous said fired. I mean, yeah, as I say, perhaps a nice guy. Aaron's getting away with stuff here, which is because he is a nice guy, and perhaps he's getting away with it. But there you go. So she was fired by Lord Sugar, and fired by the audience, and fired by the panel. So a full house. I am still struggling to see anyone who appears to have real talent in this bunch, to be honest with you. We obviously have seen a hard-nosed business person or woman or whatever you call them now in Stephanie, and possibly the opposite in a more positive, better way with Catherine. I was impressed with Catherine this week. And Harpreet, who I've been sort of banging the drum for, she was very, very quiet this week. So it'll be interesting how she goes for a bit more from her next week. And the rest are pretty much the same. There's none of the guys inspire me. To be honest with you, I think the winner's going to come from the girls. I can't imagine, you may stick a guy in the final, obviously for the sake of it, but you just can't see it at the moment. So there we go, we've got 9 left. So here's my top 9, starting from the bottom again, and literally the bottom 6 have not shifted from that top 10 I gave you at the start of this little vlog. Nick, Akshay, Brittany, Aaron, Akeem, and Sophie. So they're all ascending order. So Nick at the bottom and Sophie into 4th spot. And the top 3, yeah, Harpreet, I've put her down to number 3. So she's gone down 1. Stephanie, but her bike may be a downfall, is up from 3 to 2. And yeah, I've put Catherine. Put Catherine. She was at number 2 last week anyway, so I'll put her at number 1 as my. I'm hoping. I just think there's a bit more about Catherine than some of the others at the moment. So let me know what you think, guys. As I say, I'm not particularly thinking. Yes, Stephanie's my second favourite. She isn't. I'm just thinking about the quality of what we've got in the programme as far as Steph is concerned. So let me know what you think anyway. So not your personal thing, but who you think might win it, so that's not necessarily who you like. That's just how it is, unfortunately. All right, next time it's design a driverless car. Can't wait for that one. Should be good fun, and join me for that. And please let me know in your comments if you're enjoying it. If you say it's not the greatest, not the most in depth in strength of candidates, but hopefully there's still time for someone to sort of rise above the average, let's say. Anyway, thanks for watching. Whatever you're going to do the rest of the day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. To meet yet again on a film and TV channel, I only ask one thing. Please stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.